Hi, I'm Lou Castillo with Investor Riches. So, you want to get started in wholesaling houses? That's great. Early on in my work history, I worked in the fast food industry. This is long before I was in real estate. And when I heard about wholesalers, we were talking about the people who brought bulk food to us. So when I was in real estate and I heard about wholesalers, I assumed these were people who had bulk houses. In other words, a bunch of houses that they're going to sell together. So I was like, wow, I can hardly afford one house, let alone be able to put a bunch of them together to sell. So I guess I can't be a wholesaler yet. I just got to either be a rehabber or a landlord. And then what I found out, of course, was that I was completely wrong. I didn't understand what wholesaling was all about whatsoever. In fact, as a wholesaler, our goal is to actually never buy the house whatsoever. We simply want to control it long enough to have someone else buy it. So let me take a minute here and make sure that you really understand what wholesaling is. There's really three parties to a wholesale deal. The first is you, the wholesaler. And your job is to find, create, and lock up great deals that other investors will want to buy. To find the deal, you'll locate the second party in the transaction, which of course is a motivated seller. In other words, someone who has a definite need, not just a desire, but a need to sell their property. They want to get rid of it. They want to get out from under that house, that mortgage. They have to get rid of it. That's who we're looking for. And you won't buy it. You'll simply control it with a purchase and sales agreement, or what we also refer to as a PSA. And you'll tie it up for 30, 45, 60 days, whatever you negotiate, while you advertise it to the third party in the transaction, which is the investor buyer. Now, you can't sell the house to the investor buyer because, well, frankly, you don't own the house and you can't sell what you don't own. What you can sell them, though, is your interest in that contract. So they can actually step into your place in that contract. We call that assigning the contract, and you'll get paid an assignment fee of $10,000 or more for that. So it's really a great way to make money because it's just a paperwork transaction and you get paid $10,000. Now what your buyer does is they literally step into your place in the contract, they become the buyer, and they're the ones that go to closing with the seller and buy the home. So overall, pretty simple, right? Now what's great is that you never actually buy the house. So you don't take on any of the liability. You don't have to have a mortgage. You don't have to come up with the money. You don't have to do any rehabbing for the house. It's really quick and simple. And since your actual involvement in the property is so limited, it's easy for you to do a couple houses a month and spend no more than maybe 10, 15 hours a week at most. So it's a true part-time job that's going to pay you in the high six figures. I mean, we're talking, 100, 200, $250,000 for doing just a couple deals each and every month. Now you'll hear a lot of different strategies for how to find these great houses. You might hear somebody talk about REOs, which is bank-owned properties, or short sales, or foreclosures, or HUD properties, vacant houses. Now, I've looked at all those, I've tried them all, and I'll tell you, what I found is that the best way, the absolute best way to get a really great deal that's easy to perform is to market it to targeted homeowners and get them to call you. It really is that simple. Think about this. When do you have the greater leverage? When you're making calls out to someone or when they're calling you? Obviously, it's when they're calling you. That's when you have all the leverage and you can make the best deals. Now, typically, the motivation for these sellers falls into either a money problem, a house problem, or a family problem. So a money problem is pretty easy to understand. It's literally a money problem. They don't have enough money to pay their bills. They may be facing bankruptcy, foreclosure, something like that. They need to get out from underneath the house. A house problem is something wrong with the house. Generally, it's in bad repair, and they need to sell it. And they can't sell it to a typical owner-occupant because there's too much work that needs to be done. Or maybe they're a landlord and they shouldn't be a landlord. They're not a professional landlord, and they need to get rid of the property, and they have a terrible tenant in there. So that's a house problem. And a family problem is typically when somebody has died, so they inherited the house, or maybe the couple's getting a divorce and they need to get rid of this property. It doesn't matter really which motivation they have, as long as there is a strong motivation. It's not just like we're a little bit motivated. You want your seller to be very motivated. In fact, my favorite is, Lou, I don't care what you do. I just need to get out from under this house. That's what I really like to hear. And you'll get the same way. It's like, oh, there we go. That's a really motivated seller. Because think about what we want them to do. We want them to sell that house to us at 50, 60 cents on the dollar of what the house would be worth once it was fixed up and on the open market. So you have to find that motivated seller if you're going to find deals like that. Now, I show my mentoring clients about 20 different marketing mediums that they can use to be able to find these sellers. But I'll tell you, the two best is really direct mail and those little roadside signs that you see. We call them bandit signs. You know, the ones that say, we buy houses. Those and direct mail are the best for attracting motivated seller calls. As for investors, the investor buyers, there's really two types of investor buyers, first of all. There's rehabbers. They're going to buy the property, fix it up, and resell it to someone who's going to live there. And then there's landlords who are buying properties. They want to put very little fix-up into it, put it back in the market and rent it out. And their goal is to keep the house over the long term and build up their wealth equity. Now, there are many ways to build your list of buyers. And in fact, you want to keep building that list over time. And what's great is that they are going to be repeat buyers for you. So you can build a list and expect the people to buy over and over and over. It's keep selling to that same list. And you can find these investor buyers by going to the local Real Estate Investor Association meetings, what we call those RIAs, Real Estate Investors Association. Or you can do Facebook searches, or you can do social media advertising like a Facebook ad or a Google ad. You can do some direct mail campaigns to cash buyers in your area. So there's a lot of different ways that you can find investors in your area. And when you have a great deal, all you need to do is send out a notification to all the buyers on your list that you have a great deal. Give them all the specifics of that house, plenty of pictures, everything they might need, so they can make a buying decision right from their desk. And when you do that, what you're going to find is that the buyers will respond quickly. Assuming you have a good deal, they're going to jump all over themselves to get that deal from you. Now, you may be saying to yourself, so if these are seasoned investors, why aren't they doing this themselves? Why do they need me? They could just go out there and find these deals. Well, it comes down to this: time and desire. They don't have the time to do it, and they don't want to do it. You know, it's much easier for them to have the deal served to them on a silver platter. Because think about what you're offering to them. You've already gone out, you've done the marketing, you've done the negotiation, you locked up the deal, and you're handing it to them on a silver platter. All they have to do is say yes, and they have the deal. All that other work has already been done for them. And in fact, you set it up so that your fee is already included in the deal. In other words, you buy the house at a price such that your fee is already built in there. So it's not like they're having to come out with another $10,000. They don't look at the deal and go, oh, I'm making $30,000 on this, but I got to give $10,000 to you. No, they just simply look at it and go, if I buy this house, I'm going to make $30,000. And in buying that house, there's a $10,000 fee paid to you. So it's really easy for them. I mean, my wife is your typical rehabber, okay? She loves to rehab houses, but she has absolutely no ambition whatsoever to go out and talk to motivated sellers and try and tie up a deal. She would much rather have somebody hand it to her. Now, she's lucky. She's married to a wholesaler, so I give her a steady stream of houses. But if she was on her own, she would be buying from another wholesaler. She would never go out there and look for herself. So if you want to make big money on wholesaling houses, you really have to build the three pillars. So first is a marketing campaign that's going to attract motivated sellers to call you. You want to get those motivated sellers coming into your business and have that steady stream. Then you want an investor buyers list that you never, ever stop building. You should never say to yourself, I have a large enough investor buyers list, unless you're at a point where you're ready to get out of the business. But other than that, you should never be happy with the size of your list. You should always be growing it more. And finally, and this may actually be the most important thing, is to build a stellar reputation for having great deals. When your buyers know that you are always sending out great deals, they're going to jump on your deals as soon as you send it out, because they know that they don't have to do any work. It's going to be right there. But they also know everybody else knows that. Here's what will happen. You'll start getting full price offers often on the same day that you send it out. In fact, the fastest I ever got one was in 20 minutes. But it was a full price offer in 20 minutes. But I wait a couple days and get as many offers as I can, because if I have several full price offers, what am I going to do? I'm going to play them off of each other and see if I can get a little bit more than full price. And this is what's going to happen once your list gets to know that you have good deals. They're going to jump on it, they're going to make full price offers, and they're going to fight to get your deals. So if you really want to be successful at wholesaling and make a lot of money, remember the 3 pillars. That's marketing for motivated sellers, building your investor buyers list, and building that stellar reputation. Now, I'd also like to give you, free of charge, my 7-part video series on creating your own real estate profits. If you register now at www.investorriches.com, I'll send that to you. Plus, I'll regularly email you tips and articles for your investing success. So again, that's www.investorriches.com. I look forward to continually working with you, and look for my next episode. Thanks very much.